up you guys? My name is Jess and welcome back to Planted Hippie. So it is the last few days of June and I thought it would be obviously a good time to go ahead and film our top 5 favorite houseplants for the month of June. So if that does interest you, I please ask that you stick around, leave a like, maybe even a comment down below sharing your favorite houseplants for June, and maybe even subscribing so that you are notified every time I upload a new video and to help me keep on planting. Please also don't forget to follow me on Instagram at planted.hippie, where I post new planty photos daily. So with that, let's go ahead and get into our June favorites. Let's go ahead and get into our first plant for today. It is a new plant and I am super excited to show you guys. I actually just got it this past weekend at a nursery down in DeLand, Florida called EFG Orchids, and they specialize obviously in beautiful, unique orchids. They have the types that you can plank onto or mount, I guess, onto wooden planks, and just more unique, sought after, and rare orchids. They also have a really large variety of Hoyas and philodendrons, and they really take great care of their plants, and I could not recommend them more. If you are in the Florida area and wanting to know any nursery recommendations, or on your way to South Florida to where all the really nice nurseries are and you wanted to have a pit stop on the way there, I definitely recommend EFG Orchids. So our first plant, like I said, is a new one. I only got it a few days ago, so I'm obviously not too keen on the care for it just yet, but I do have another plant similar to it, so I'm hoping putting it near that plant in the same conditions, it will hopefully do well. So the plant I am talking about is the Lifesaver cactus. So if you can see here, it gets its very cool name from its very unique blooms, and hopefully it'll stop focusing on me, and just look at these blooms. How cool, right? So these cactus, I don't know, I haven't really done any research. I just bought it because I knew I have been searching for this plant, and Austin was also very interested in getting one as well. You can see here is a new bloom coming. I haven't really done too much research. I don't know if it's a full like jungle cactus or if it is indeed like a euphorbia, so I will go ahead and hopefully remember to put that on the screen after editing and researching a little bit more about this plant. I do have a starfish cactus, which is around the same family, I'm guessing, and also just looks similar and has like those more meaty arms for the cactus. And so yeah, I'm really expecting this cactus to be very similar care to that starfish cactus. I do have it hanging up outside in a like dappled, shaded, sunny area. It gets really nice morning eastern light where it's not getting too fried, and then when the sun is up in the sky, getting shaded by trees. So I think this cactus will do great right next door to that beautiful starfish cactus that I have shown in past videos before. I think it was definitely shown in my house tour video, so I'll link that definitely. Other than that, I will definitely keep you guys updated on how I do this plant justice and if it obviously survives. My starfish cactus is hanging in a basket outside, and this one is obviously just a stationary pot, so I didn't want to repot it obviously since I just bought it, and I actually saw someone in front of me checking out who had gotten a smaller specimen, and they were shoving it in like a little transportable like hand cart, I guess, to have it transported more easily, and they ended up breaking off one of their little arms. So I suspect that these are pretty fragile. I mean, not too fragile, but you just don't want to be obviously repotting it if you don't need to, I would assume. So I am really hoping that I am able to do this plant justice, because just look how cool those flowers are, and I'm so glad that it was in bloom and that I spotted this beautiful cactus, because they haven't ever had these cactus in before, and from what I could tell, a lot of people were really gravitating towards these because they're just such a unique plant and you don't get to see them often. So I will definitely keep you all updated on how I take care of this beautiful guy, and hopefully it does not die. So yeah, I am really excited to be able to finally have this cactus after eyeing it on the internet for so long. I know it's not really uncommon, but I've just never been able to find it in person, and it's not really a plant that I was really willing to ship to me, again, because it's probably, I assumed it was very fragile, and yeah, I didn't want to risk having a messed up cactus come in the mail. So yeah, I will definitely keep you all updated on how I take care of this beautiful girl. I am super excited to have this plant finally, and I will definitely keep you all updated on how I care for it and if anything bad happens to it, of course. So that is our number 1 plant, the Lifesaver Cactus. Alrighty, so the next plant on our list is a Hoya. I actually mentioned it in our last video because of its really fast growth, and that is the same reason I am including it in our favorites video, and it's actually hanging up here, so I didn't have to put it down on the floor, but I will grab it real quick. And the plant I am referring to is my beautifully long and beautiful Hoya linearis. So as you guys can see, you couldn't really, I guess maybe you could tell in the prior video I just posted of all the updated summer growth. If you haven't seen that, please go watch it. I updated you all on this beautiful Hoya, and just look, I just don't know if you guys could tell in the video how long it was, and I didn't pick it up and show you, so I wanted to include her in my favorites video because look how beautiful she is. I am extending my arm completely up and she is still dangling. So I am absolutely loving her this month. Every time I walk into the plant room, I end up just staring at her, taking propagations and sticking them either back up top or in that Buddha head that I showed you in the last video. Yeah, I just am really impressed with how well this plant adapted to my house. I also got this plant from EFG Orchids. I believe back in either February or March. It was like one of the first plant purchases or like plant hauls of the year, and I was just so happy to have found such a large specimen. Like I said, I have been replugging the cuttings back into the top, so it is a lot fuller than when I initially purchased it, but I still was just so happy to find such a long mature specimen so that I could automatically start taking cuttings and again potting them back into the top. And yeah, I was just super fortunate to find such a beautiful wish list Hoya in person and at one of my favorite nurseries. So yeah, because of all that amazing growth and all this beautiful long foliage, I had to give her a mention on today's list, and that is why I went ahead and included her today. So that was our number 2 plant, the Hoya linearis. Alright, so for our next plant, it is actually going to be the last plant that I am actually showcasing here in front of the camera before we have to get up and actually move around the house to show you the rest of the plants that I have on my list. And that's how I usually film my houseplant favorites. So let me know in the comments down below which style you prefer, whether it is actually getting up and filming the plants in their actual spots in my collection or taking them up out of their spots and bringing them here in front of the camera and showcasing them that way. So let me know in the comments which you prefer. But for our next plant, it is one of the first plants I actually ever purchased, and I had no idea anything about plants, and I kept seeing this plant pop up as an easy care for beginners, and it was actually the first plant I went into a store searching for. So without further ado, I will show you that plant now. So the plant I am talking about is my money tree plant here. So I was very attracted to this plant when I first started out in my planty journey because of its ease of care, and I kept reading that it just liked to dry out, it liked low light, good light, medium light. It wasn't very temperamental. I had also seen these plants in like doctor's offices and stuff like that, so I thought if they can do it, I can do it, and I was right. So I'm really happy I got this beautiful plant. As you can see, it's just one trunk here. It did have, I believe, 3. It was a braid of 3, and I unbraided them. I lost one of them when I did that. It was already kind of like rotting. I think it was getting choked out before I even purchased it. That's okay because the other one is actually in my western facing window in a little cute bonsai pot. And yeah, I just really love them both. I am really loving this one in particular because of all the growth she has been giving me this year, and as you can see, I just love when they give me new leaves. If you can see here, they just look like little hands, especially when they're first emerging. That's what Plant Me Ashley likes to say, like they're throwing hands. They literally do put out like the tiniest little baby hands with fingers when they're first emerging, and I just am so in awe of how big these leaves can get. So yeah, I've just always really loved this plant from the very beginning of my plant journey, and it still brings me so much joy now, and I guess that's why I wanted to include it in my favorites video today, and to showcase that even common plants can be super beautiful and eye-catching, and to not only love on the rare plants, because common plants can give us just as much joy as the rare ones do. So that is why I wanted to include this plant for our number 3 plant on our list today, the money tree. So let's go ahead and put this girl back, and let's head outside for our next plant. Alright, so for the next plant on our list, it is outside, and I will be including B-roll footage like I usually do in my past favorites videos, and I am just going to be showing you that plant now, which is a plumeria tree. And if you don't know what a plumeria tree, it is actually a native tropical plant tree that is native to Hawaii. So they actually use these beautiful flowers that are produced basically year-round in Hawaii because of the conditions, and the trees don't ever go into dormancy there, and they're able to push out these beautiful flowers year-round, where the native Hawaiian people take them and make them into leis, and that is what tourists and hotels and other people use. And usually you get them on arrival after you get off your boat or your plane, or however you get to Hawaii. They'll usually put a lei necklace on you, and this is the flower that they use to make them. So I think they are just super beautiful. They come with a really cool history, and I love plants that have a little bit of a story, I guess, with them. And other than its beautiful colors, and I also, you can see I have other plumeria trees. They're all different flower colors, and I wish I still had the cards, like their names, but oh well, it doesn't really matter to me. I just love the flowers, and hopefully one day these beautiful trees will get huge, and I will definitely be protecting them with some sort of tarp this winter so that they don't freeze and potentially rot their stems. So I will definitely be having to do that this winter because these guys are newly planted at the beginning of the season, and obviously they've been taking well to their new life outside. They've always been outside, but they were just in pots before, and I was holding off potting them into the ground because I knew we were moving, and I just wanted to be in our new house whenever I potted them into the ground and find the perfect spot for them. So they are on the western side of the house, getting a lot of afternoon direct sun, and they only get shade in the morning. So I am not seeing any bleaching or frying of the leaves. I think they do appreciate the really bright light, and I couldn't be happier with how they are looking. And hopefully I get some more blooms this summer. I don't see any like active blooms starting on any of the other trees, but I will definitely keep you all updated on if any of that changes. So definitely follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of like flower blooms or peduncles or new leaves that are coming in on my stories. So definitely give me a follow on there if you want to be one of the first people to see new leaves or new flowers and stuff like that. So that is why I included my beautiful plumeria tree in today's video. I am just absolutely in love with her blooms, and hopefully again I will keep you guys updated on if any of my other trees start to bloom. So yeah, I've just been loving that bloom that it has given me a few weeks ago. It's lasting so long, and that is why I wanted to include it on today's video, and that is why it is our number 4 plant for today, the plumeria tree. Okay, so for our very last Unnecessary. I'm filming. She's so weird. Okay, so for our last plant on our list today, I do have to go into the plant room, and it is actually Austin's plant technically, but I have just been staring at it so much this month and admiring it so much, and I will be including B-roll again because it's too big to, I guess it's not too big, but I just don't want to make Austin upset by potentially moving it and breaking off one of the leaves or something horrible. So I'm just going to leave it in its spot and do some b-roll. But it is the Philodendron Billetier, and I am so obsessed with his plant, and it is just so beautiful. And hopefully one day when he's ready to cut it, he will gift me a cute beautiful cutting, and he will obviously probably keep the top cut. And yeah, I just am super obsessed with this plant, and I can't wait to see how big it does get one day, and the leaves just keep getting even more massive. And Austin actually just repotted it, and it is seeming to be doing really well, and the roots when we did repot it were just absolutely crazy. So I just think this plant is just so resilient, such a good grower, and so rewarding to see. And just I think it's really a cool plant because it brings Austin and I so much joy, and we love to watch the new leaves unfurl and become huge. And yeah, I just love it because it reminds me of my fiance. So that is why I had to include it on today's list, and that is actually our last plant for today. So I really do thank you for joining me for today's June favorites video. There goes Delilah, and I thank you if you stuck all the way to the end, and really do appreciate you all for subscribing and watching my videos because it is just so awesome to be able to make them for you, and I really appreciate all of you. So that does bring us to the end of today's video, and without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the outro. Alrighty, so while we're wrapping up today's video, I did want to quickly mention that I am working on a video right now constructing 2 Redsta IKEA greenhouse cabinets. One of them is going to be completely scaped out with moss and made into a living wall situation, and the other one is going to be used just for like propagations, and I'm just going to build it out normally. So if you're really excited to see that video, let me know in the comments. It should be out by next week, so I'm really excited for that. And yeah, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end if you did, and I please ask that you leave a like, maybe even a comment down below, or even subscribing so that you are notified every time I upload a new video, and to help me keep on planting. Please also don't forget to follow me on Instagram at planted.hippie, where I post new planty photos daily. So with that, I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys!